I said that I felt that I found what I was looking for. And I remember the first time experiencing sadhana, the morning practice, like I felt my soul coming through. Like I was experiencing something was very powerful and I didn't know what it was. Also because my first sadhana was in a teacher training for breath walk, and I was practicing Kundalini Yoga for maybe a couple of months, 3 months, something like that. I was invited to join this group of teachers. So I was the newbie there. And I didn't know anything. And I was so scared of asking questions. So I was just experiencing everything.
Hey, 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 good evening for me. Good evening for Maria. But good day, good afternoon, good morning, good night, wherever you are. Welcome to the Kundalini Awakening podcast, where we hope to talk to people about their karmic path and how they will find their journey towards their dharmic path. And tonight I have the pleasure to welcome Maria Pensavalle. I hope I speak it out right or not. Welcome very much to the podcast. I met you unknowingly on the Kundalini Yoga Festival. Uh, I did see you, but then you popped up on me and you said, "Hey, I so would love to share my story to the world in your podcast." And I was all delighted. We got to know each other, and oh my gosh, you've got so much going on. And I don't know if we can pack it all into this one podcast, but let's give it a try. Welcome, Maria.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. You pronounced it correctly. It's my surname, even if usually people refer to me as Maria Param Sukh with my spiritual name. And thank you for having me. It's a pleasure, really.
And can you tell us what Param Sukh means, Maria?
Yes, Param Sukh is the great peacemaker and was like a big shock receiving the spiritual name because um, peace is something that I didn't know actually when I received it. So being the great peacemaker seemed something that was impossible to reach at that time. But here I am, embracing it. And
Tell us, oh great peacemaker. What do you drink after yoga?
well, it depends. It depends on the period of the year because when it's hot, I love having just some lemon juice with water, with cold water in the morning. It's like my favorite thing to drink. But during winter, I need some warmth, and so I drink some. It depends. It can be yogi tea or like hot almond milk or something like that. I know I'm Italian, so maybe you expected me to say I drink coffee, but I don't. I used to drink a lot of coffee, but it's been a while since I drank my last cup of coffee.
And why did you stop? Now that's an interesting question because as a yes, Italy. I mean, I'm not expecting anything else. Yes, coffee, 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 right? So why did you stop?
Actually, I stopped before starting practicing Kundalini Yoga. I
Hmm.
stopped because I was having severe panic attacks. And one day my doctor asked, but how many coffee do you drink during the day? And I said, I tried to calculate and I realized it was a lot. I was having like 1 liter of American coffee during the morning and then something like 6 or 8 Italian espresso during the day. So he said, maybe you can consider like drinking less coffee and see what happens to your anxiety. But I'm a cold turkey person, so I stopped just drinking coffee uh, all in one time, and I yes, I didn't drink any more coffee since then.
Wow, and how was that for you to go cold turkey on the coffee?
Oh God, it was hard. It was harder than quitting cigarettes, actually, because I loved the ritual um, to buy the coffee and grind it at home. And we have a ritual in Italy. It's a big thing. Drinking a coffee. It's also a social thing. You go with friends and have a coffee. You go to people's house and have a coffee. So it was difficult to adapt because I needed to find different way to energize myself and also to be social with people. Uh,
Wow, yeah, that must not. I mean, I remember visiting Italy, and there's a lot of Italians standing there drinking coffee and talking about things. How did you get your energy now?
well, in many ways. Of course, Kundalini Yoga is a big source of energy for me, but just breathing consciously or doing some pranayama or dancing sometimes some not just shakti dance because I do that also, but sometimes just dancing to a happy music or just playing with my daughter. There are different ways I can uh, connect to my energy and have better energy during the day. It depends on my cycle. It depends on the day. It depends on the hour of the day. Uh, I'm very I'm very grateful to have a lot of tools to use.
And so you said you left coffee, and did you leave cigarettes before that, after that?
I left cigarettes like so I left coffee and then I left alcohol and then I left um no, sorry. First I left marijuana, then I left coffee, then I left alcohol, and after I left cigarettes. And it's been like a 3 months journey to just get rid of all of that. And it was a lot also because I didn't have the tools at the time to self-regulate. So it was my nervous system was a bit in shock because I didn't know how to handle all the changes. And at that time, what helped me was the my positive mind. So I was thinking about all the positive things that I was experiencing in that moment, and that kept me going because I started to feel that I was breathing better, that I had less anxiety, but it was a difficult time. And then this is a story that I told you already today, actually. And then I got pregnant. I got pregnant, but I was a total mess. Like I was depressed. I had I had a huge anxiety and panic attacks. So I I thought, okay, I cannot have a baby like this. I don't want to be that kind of mother. So okay, what should I do? And I moved recently in a new town, so it was everything was new. And I Googled, what can I do in pregnancy in Caserta? Like, help me, something like that. And my teacher's website popped up, and I called her. And she said, "Oh, that's beautiful. You can come. I have pregnancy classes, Kundalini Yoga during pregnancy classes." And I said, "Okay, well, what do you do there?" Just to give you the the atmosphere. I was like a pretty scientific girl. I was studying medicine, so I was very logical. And she told me, "So you come, we do some movement, we chant a lot." And I thought, "Oh my God, this is so odd." But I love her voice. I love her energy. I felt in love with her on the phone. And so I started going to Kundalini yoga classes. And
How
and
long
I,
ago was that?
uh, it was 13 years ago. 13
Okay.
years ago. And and after some classes, I had a miscarriage. So that baby was gone. And remember, I was quite a logical person with a scientific approach. I was like, okay, this is normal because, the percentage of miscarriage is very high. I was being logical around all the experience. I was not enabling myself to feel what I was feeling. And it was a rough, actually, it was a rough time, but I didn't want to acknowledge that. For me was, okay, I can do this. I'm strong. I was being positive. Let's see the positive in all of that. And but I continued with my practice once, like after 40 days, she told me, okay, you can come and we, in a normal class, a normal Kundalini class. And I felt so much at home. I remember sitting there, having for the first time the feeling to be at home, to I found what I was looking for, and everything changes from that. This is like that was the new beginning of my life, um, and I believe that actually that baby came just to tell me, don't you realize that you're here in Caserta and you have a trainer of Kundalini Yoga here and you're going through all of this by yourself and you need to have someone to guide you. And that was the purpose of that experience. And it was it was really a bliss, actually, a blessing to have that experience. Um,
Wow. I know that many people say that our children are our teachers, but I never heard of the teacher being in your womb already. Thank you for telling that, sharing that.
yes, and I have a daughter now, and she's 8. So I had the blessing to have another um, pregnancy, and I can tell you that these souls coming through you are your best teacher. She's my best teacher, and actually, a fun fact: before I realized that I was pregnant with my daughter, I kept on dreaming Sangat. I, I was doing Kundalini Yoga for some years then, and I was dreaming of gatherings and meditating together, a lot of people. And then one night I dreamt about a yogi, like a male, uh, very, very wise man with the turban. And we were meditating together, like as we were having a white tantric yoga experience, something like that. And then that day, I realized that I was pregnant. It was like this teacher archetype coming through in a with a big symbol, and she's the one that helped me grow most, because when you have a child, you can decide to go through your karma and experience once again all the conditioning, all the story that you have from your family, from your past, from your trauma, from your past lives, and everything like this, and have just a karmic experience with your children. Or you can decide to be uh, the one that cuts all that karma so that your children can experience something different, and that can uh, grow in a healthier way, maybe happier, stronger, wiser than you. And and sometimes I look at my daughter, and um, okay, with her I had the most amazing experience, because I can see how working on myself since I was pregnant with her, and before that, of course, had a huge impact in her stability, in her, um, in just the way she lives life. Because when she was 18 months, we were playing, and she decided to do a game that I was not approving. And I told her, okay, we don't do that. And she looked straight in my face, 18 months you old, like a baby. She looked at me and she said, "This is my life. You don't tell me what I can do." I was shocked, but I saw that the seed I planted when I was pregnant with her had sprout, because I want her to have her own so sovereignty. How do you say? Like,
Sovereign,
yes,
sovereign. I want to her to be sovereign,
yes,
right?
with
With her own sovereignty.
yes. I want her to have that experience, that her life, it's her life, and she can make all the choices that are best for her. But I didn't expect that to, to be so evident um, at a young age. So,
Wow.
yeah,
Let's rewind a bit, because
sure.
I listen and I resonate and I understand you very well. But let's just imagine there's a lot of different listeners in the world. So I want to come back to this karma concept, right? I think it's very important what you're saying. Can you, without saying karma, let's try to bring it in a different wording. You need to break your karma so that your kids can have a free, sovereign life. Can you please tell that in a way that, let's say, people who are just new on the block can understand?
Yes, of course. Um, we have a lot of conditioning in our way of living, in our way of thinking. And it comes from a lot of things. It comes from our past experiences, and it comes from experiences of others that have been passed on to us. Um, so there is a subconscious register that we use to live. And I have some, I can feel, maybe let's make an example. Today I was talking to my dad, and he told me that friendship doesn't exist. because in his experience, it's like that. And I've been living with him for a lot of years in my crucial years, my developing years. So this limiting belief is embedded in my subconscious, and I had to fight to break this belief in me. And once I discovered the right tools to do that, of course, it was easier. But for a long time, in my belief, I could have no friends because friendship doesn't exist. But it's not true. And I'm experiencing that. I have a beautiful Sangha. I have beautiful friends, and they're there for me when I need them, and I'm there for them when they need me. And
But
it's
just wait a minute,
so,
wait a minute, wait a minute.
yeah.
Just sorry, just wait a minute. Okay,
Yeah,
you said
sorry.
you're saying your father tells you friendship doesn't exist. How does life look for you then when you don't believe that? If that's limiting you, and how could you transcend towards yes, I'm making friends? I mean, yeah, I'm being devil's advocate here. Is that really possible that you go from no friends to lots of friends?
It is so much possible. I was a very lonely girl growing up. Um, I had a lot of conflicts in my life, in my family first, in my from my starting from my family. Not my parents. My parents were cool together, but they have this energy, like a very destructive energy. Let's say that. Okay, so they are beautiful teachers too. And so I was alone. I was just with my parents, and I knew that I couldn't count on anyone, just myself. And I grew up with a lot of problems. I was suffering from eating disorders and depression and anxiety and just feeling lonely. Plus, I had and I still have a huge sensitivity that I could not handle. So sometimes I felt crazy because I was feeling all that feelings, and most of the things that I was feeling were coming from other people around me. So life was very difficult, was very difficult. And even if I was very good at school, I was very sad. And when I started university, my anxiety was so high that uh, I was no longer so good at the university, and that was like my main characteristic, like being good, being very intelligent and smart, and so I was just crumbling, and I was avoiding a lot of stuff. So I decided to um, to escape. Had the chance to fell in love with a beautiful guy, and he was living in another city, and I took my things and moved away from my problems. Just run away from the problems until you cannot run away anymore. And when I started working on myself, it was very hard because sometimes you need to face some realities about yourself that you're not ready to see, maybe. But with the right guidance, um, you can really transform a life from a very sad and lonely life to a happy and fulfilling and full of love life. Um, it takes. of course, discipline and um, focus, focus, a lot of gratitude, and of course, the right guidance. Because yeah,
You
sometimes you
say, you say guidance a few times. So you're saying, I'm coming back to this karma, this limiting beliefs. You transitions from being lonely, anxious, depressed into a life full of love, full of sangat, which is community. And you say, of course, with guidance. What does that mean, or how did that manifest for you in your life?
um, for me, the first guidance was, of course, my teacher. She is the one that helped me to see that there was the chance to have something different. Uh, and that was my first guide because she was the link towards other kind of guidance. Now I know that I'm divinely guided every second of every day, but I needed someone to remind me of that. And also, I strongly believe that I still need guidance because when you're working on yourself, sometimes it's very easy to uh, feel that you don't need anymore anyone to tell you what to do. Just like my 18 months daughter did. Like, yeah, I don't need you to tell me what I need to do. Um, but that's an ego trap. It can be. So guidance is always I always have my point of reference in someone, in my teacher, of course, um, but not just her. Sometimes can be a good friend, a good friend because good friends exist. uh, or it can be also my my mind when it's really in a meditative state. It
Mhm.
depends if I can reach it.
And how do you open up for guidance? You mean you said you were smart, you were intelligent. That was kind of your ego, right? You built up. How was the process for you to say, okay, I think I need some help, and I think I'm gonna open up because somebody else needs to shine a light on a different path.
Well, I think at that time I had no other chance, no other choices, because my everything was like it was terrible. I was desperate. I tried to do it in the smartest way, I thought, but it wasn't working. Nothing was working. So I had no choices. I was crumbling. So mm, it was a very humbling experience asking for help. Help also because I was the kind of person that I had that limiting belief that you have to fix everything by yourself. when I was when I was suffering from anorexia, uh, my father told me, "Okay, you have to figure it out by yourself. You don't need a psychologist to deal with that. Just eat." That was my like my main my main thing. You have to do it by yourself. So after years and years and years going through so many things and trying to fix everything by myself, I understood that I I couldn't. I just couldn't. I needed someone To also sometimes you just need to feel held, like embraced by someone. And
Beautiful. Yeah, once I had I meditated about that. I mean, we've got brains, right? Why can't we solve everything? And what I came across was it's good to realize that there's a moment that you need to surrender into the power of the collective, the people around you, the universe, or however you want to call it, right? And we can try ourselves all the time, but sometimes in life can really throw you in a corner, and you brought yourself to that corner, and it's then a good moment to think maybe I have to reconsider, and maybe I have to open up to others. Yeah, great. So you found Kundalini Yoga, you found a teacher, a guide. And how did that path look like the past 13 years?
wow. It's been quite a journey, actually. Um, because you remember I said that I felt that I found what I was looking for. And I remember the first time experiencing sadhana, the morning practice, like I felt my soul coming through. Like I was experiencing something was very powerful and I didn't know what it was. Also because my first sadhana was in a teacher training for breath walk, and I was practicing Kundalini Yoga for maybe a couple of months, 3 months, something like that. I was invited to join this group of teachers. So I was the newbie there. And I didn't know anything. And I was so scared of asking questions. So I was just experiencing everything. Like, okay, with no questions, no answers, no nothing, just experience. And I think it was good for my controlling mind. And then I decided to a few months later I was invited to join a teacher training, and I said of course yes. And it was a very transformative uh, experience, also because it strengthened my connection to my practice. I was already having a very strong sadhana, um, just because I liked it and because it gave me so much. I mean, in the first months of experiencing Kundalini Yoga, I totally overcome depression and anxiety and attack, something that I couldn't handle, like I couldn't fix in other ways for years. So of course I was amazed by the results. So I decided to join the teacher training. It was very transformative for me. Um, and after that, after it finished, I started right away with the level 2. And then I did pregnancy, like a conscious pregnancy teacher training. And then I did uh, children yoga. And then I did a lot of other trainings. It was like my 11. My 11 was because I I was born in November, so I was looking for trainings and trainings and trainings. I had that kind of mindset. Um, and it gave me a lot of strength, a lot of knowledge, a lot of uh, structure. But at one point, I felt the structure. I was too structured, actually. And for me, it was very clear that I just went from from many other addiction to another addiction. I was addicted to Kundalini Yoga, and that blew my mind. I was like, oh, oh my God.
Just another form of energy, right?
Yes. Another form of energy. So I tried to find ways to deconstruct again. Like I was like that Kundalini yogi with uh 3 hours of sadhana every day and cold showers and always wearing the turban. I was very, very strict, very strict. But I realized that I was not gaining flexibility. I was just more structured. Um, a lot of things happened during that time, and these things helped me connect with the true essence of what was my experience. There was a point where I was just sitting on my mat and saying, okay, I know all of this, but let's feel what it's doing to me. Let's feel what it's real. Let's feel what is working and if it's working. And so I started rediscovering. It was 20, 2020, 2019, 2020, that period. Um, and then I started, some part of me started to also come to the surface again, like some hidden parts, some parts that I judged and thought that were not suitable for a teacher, a Kundalini yoga teacher. They were coming back again. And so I started a journey of integration, just feeling what is true for me, what works for me, and allowing all of me being there as a teacher, of course, but with no judgment of who I was before or my shadows that are still there and are very big. I really love the idea that big light makes big shadows. So when our inner light is more evident, also my shadows can become more evident. And I'm a Scorpio too, so I like my shadows are great shadows to work with. So um it's been a journey of really rediscovering who I am and what I can do with my life and what I can do to serve people, because this is another big thing for me, serving people and healing.
So before we get to that, I just want to take one little bit of a focus. You said I started to accept my shadows. Now that's on a conceptual level, it sounds easy, but I don't think that that's an easy process. Could you maybe highlight an example that is possible? I mean, we all have our shadow sides, so I'm not expecting you to lay it all out, but maybe you can just share an experience, like how was it before you accepted that part of yourself, and how was it afterwards?
Yes. Oh, yeah, I have to choose one.
You can give me two. I mean,
Mm, actually, I made a reel today or yesterday, I can't remember, about that, about my, like, I have a big ego. Okay. It's not, it, it's evident. It's on display. And I love how in the yogic world and also like let's say in the spiritual world, there is a misconception, I believe, about having a big ego, like your ego getting in the way of your spiritual development. And for me, it was like that. I studied a lot, so I was trying to kill my ego so badly. I just couldn't, because it is here. It's part of the human experience to have a ego. And with Kundalini Yoga, especially, we work a lot on our navel point, on our third chakra, on our like fire core. And this can lead to have even a bigger ego. And we have to understand that it's the point is not having an ego, or telling that your ego is um, taking you away from your spiritual awakening, or from your spiritual path, or from your dharma, or whatever. For me, the point is, how can I use my ego that it's there and it's not going smaller? How can I use it to do something good, to do something that is aligned with me, with my mission, with what I want to do uh, in this life? And it's part of it.
Wow. And tell me, how do you use that ego now to serve your mission?
I use it. Uh, just I learned to relax, to know that I have a big ego and it's there. So I don't think about uh, having to fight it. It's there. So maybe this can, mm, my personality can reach more people, maybe, just because it's like this. And it's okay to take space. I allow myself to take space and to show myself with all the things that I like to do. And even if I'm a Kundalini yoga teacher, it doesn't mean that I don't have to dance flamenco, or to have beautiful tantric sex, or to um, experience something that, um, I don't know, maybe I can also use curse words, or just express myself in an authentic way. Because what I felt before this change in my spiritual path and in my self expression was a lot of repression. I was feeling repressed. And I was feeling wrong. Like I felt that I was wrong, that me being me was wrong and I needed to be fixed. And I decided that I'm not a project to be healed and fixed. Of course there is a lot of space for improvement and for growth, but I want to live a life where I feel that I'm accepting myself just as I am, because I could die tomorrow and I want to die happy. I don't want to die thinking that I'm wrong, that, oh my God, you had sex when you were 23 with that guy and now it's with you forever and it's cursing you. No, I'm it's part of me and it's part of my experience and it's okay. It's okay. I want to live happy with that.
You sound happy.
I am. But it was a very difficult journey to arrive here.
Yes, I must say it's the more challenging the journey, I nowadays say the greater the chosen one. And I believe that all these journeys we make are meant for us because we can handle them and we can share the lessons with others that will come on our path, right? So you're talking about self-acceptance. I'm a Scorpio too, so I know about hiding in the darkness, not showing all the signs, but it's just so great when you can self-accept. How are you sharing this? How are you serving now?
I'm multifaceted. So I do a lot of things, but in the moment, I'm focusing a lot on spiritual entrepreneurs and healers, and I help them to protect themselves first because I'm very good at protection actually. Maybe because I experienced a lot of um yes things and needed protection and to take care of themselves. So actually I teach what I need to learn most of course. I need to learn and to remember myself how I can protect myself and I can take care and that it's important and vital to take care of yourself first before taking care of others. And I teach women self acceptance, like um, the beauty of being a woman uh, with no apologies, still very humble, still serving, but taking space and taking the role as a feminine leader inside of the, the Sangat, inside of society, in leadership roles, especially. And of course, I work a lot with women during pregnancy and after that, in the first 9 months, let's say, I help them have a conscious pregnancy and live a blissful pregnancy and labor and childbirth and the experience of a newborn in your life and how you can have a beautiful experience with your partner while your life is totally changing. So I teach them to have good communication, good relationship, and some tricks to keep the couple together so that children can be supported with love and protection. That this is the actually when we give children this, we are making a huge impact on the society because when children are raised with love and protection, they don't need drugs. They don't need um, like to be codependent. They don't need a lot of things.
They will
So
be fulfilled.
they will be, yes, they will be fulfilled in themselves because we give them the opportunity to experience what they need in the during their early stage of development, which is the most important part of our life. And of course, I teach Kundalini Yoga and I teach Shakti dance, and I am a Satnam Rasayan healer. Uh, Satnam Rasayan is the art of healing through a meditative state. Um, and I do numerology consultation and a lot of other things. I'm a multi-passionate person, so
Now let's fast forward. You're at the end of your life. What are you leaving behind?
oh, that's a beautiful, beautiful question. My big dream is to leave a legacy of community living in a place where women can come and feel protected and have the space to heal from uh, bad experiences and find again um, confidence, the confidence and the strength to move on in their life. So I'm living a small village with uh, many rooms for women to come, a home restaurant, a garden, and house where they can have their baby also. I don't know. We call it in Italian casa del parto. It's a place where you can deliver a baby. It's not a not outside the hospital. Yeah, and uh, a Waldorf school. And yes, all together in one place where the community live in a conscious way. They share the practice, the spiritual practice, and it's not just for women, of course. Um, Also, men are welcome, but it's focused on healing uh, women and helping them to get financial freedom, emotional freedom, and independence so that they can live a healthy, happy, and empowered life.
No, I'm gonna give the space for you for final say to these women that are looking to find their true self, to heal from the challenges they faced in life, um, to find their own independence. What would you say?
I would say that when we are giving a challenge, it's just because we have the strength inside us to overcome it and to transform it in our biggest lesson, and so that we can have a more structured nervous system and glandular system so that we can evolve in our best version of ourselves. And healing is possible even if we experience the worst experience. uh, doesn't doesn't matter as long as you're willing to work on yourself and to be guided towards your highest potential.
So nice to have people like you walking their path, coming out with their big ego. I want to thank you for getting out here and telling your story because um, I myself have witnessed a mother who was not able to make these steps, who I always wished she would have done that for herself. So and I've seen it all around us that this masculine world has suppressed a lot of women in their potential. So thank you for taking on this beautiful journey of service, and I look forward that you come to share some lessons on our Kundalini Yoga platform. Because yes, she's going to do some things with us in the future. And thank you for inspiring everybody. And if you feel inspired, I'll drop the link to Maria. You can Param Sukh, Sukh, Param Sukh, right? Maria Param Sukh, the great peace, um,
Maker.
ah, peacemaker. Yes, the great peacemaker. She'll be on our platform, I'm sure, in 2025. The link is down here to find Maria, to find us, try us out, come and join this path of finding your true self, walking the path to unlock your true potential, and creating stories like that of Maria. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me, Sandesh. I'm really, really grateful. Thank you for holding this space so gracefully and to spread light and love through this platform. It's really an amazing job you're doing, and I'm very, very happy to collaborate with you. Thank you.
Hooray! So nice. Thank you, everybody. We'll speak to you, see you, I mean, hear from you, or leave a comment, reach out to us. We're here. Have a great journey, and I will see you or hear you in the next podcast. Bye bye.